Well, I'm Paul Segobiano, and I graduated from Central Catholic High School in 1951. And it was a great experience, and I certainly would encourage all families to make sure their children get a Catholic education, especially at Trinity High School, now Central Catholic High School. Well, first of all, there's one thing about a Catholic education. You learn discipline and respect, and I certainly had the privilege of having a lot of nuns in my school days, and I appreciated them. And they were strict, but they were fair and they were honest, and they had a lot of fun on occasion. Probably the most exciting thing that ever happened to me at Central Catholic High School, I met a young lady my sophomore year in homeroom, and believe it or not, we were married for 65 years after that meeting. So that's one of the fondest memories I have at Central, is meeting my wife, Barbara, there. But I also had the opportunity to participate in sports, even had the lead role in the senior class play, So president of the Monogram Club, did a lot of things at Central, but a small school on a strict environment gives you an opportunity to prepare for life, and I certainly appreciated that. I'm happy to say we talk about Trinity High School and Central Catholic High School. When people talk about sending your children to a Catholic high school, some of them look at it as, it's really a financial obligation, and it is, but it's worth every penny of it. As of this date, my family and my children and their children and grandchildren, we have 224 years of Catholic education. Very proud of that fact. Well, my father came to this country from Mexico as a young boy, 11-year-old boy, and became self-educated. Nowadays, they call that, being sort of homeschooled. He always said, if you receive, you give. And so it's always been my idea and my ambition to help those in need or those who need some guidance. I was always involved in something, and the kids on the West Side, they were being used as a scrimmage team for a couple organized teams, so I organized what is now the Bloomington Knockers. We started them in 1957, and in fact, Bernie McIlvaney was the chief of police at that time, and Father George Casper was assistant priest at St. Patrick's. And I said, I saw these kids out at O'Neill Park being scrimmaged against by an organized team. And I said to Father Casper, if these kids want to play, let's get them organized. Let's give them a chance. And so he said, well, let me help you raise the money, and we'll see what we can do. So we walked door to door, knocking on doors, asking for donations to start the Knockers, and we did. We started them, and we raised the money, and I said to Father Casper, okay, we've got the money, and we're going to be green and white because of St. Pat's. And I said, you can name the team. He said, okay. So a few days later, I asked Father, I said, did you name the team? He said, yeah, I did. I said, what are we going to call them? He said, we're going to call them the Knockers. He said, well, at that time, Father Rainey was a longtime athletic director at Trinity High School. Had a mother who lived in Knock, Ireland, and there's a beautiful shrine there. And so she went to that shrine, and she was made to see a miracle in Knock, Ireland. So from Knock, Ireland, without calling the Saints or the Irish, they became the Bloomington Knockers. Started them in 1957 with about 15 kids. And today I'm happy to say I've given that responsibility to my son Mark and my grandson Brian, and we have over 200 kids in the program. And I'm very proud of that fact. Well, being involved in helping kids, John Penn, who's a major labor leader in this country, came to me and he said, there's a crisis in this country of kids dropping out of high school. And he said, we need to do something about that. And he said, you've worked with kids all your life. Give them a chance. He said, do you think we could put together an organization, a program that we could address the high school dropout? And we went down and met him in his office in Springfield, laid it out. So we worked with the educators up and down the state of Illinois putting the program together. To back up a little bit, the name came from Liz and I were sitting in the office and I looking for a name for this program. And I said, what are we trying to do? She said, keep kids in school. I said, for how long? 4 years. stay 4. And that's where it came from. So we set out some simple guidelines for these kids to follow. And if they followed it, and such as a grade point average, community service, extracurricular, get them away from their core group, get them involved with other groups, other organizations. And upon graduation, in enrollment in a trade school, military, community college, we would give them a grant of $1,000 for unexpected expenses. And then we work with ISAC, Illinois Student Assistance Corps, to find them scholarships. And it's been extremely successful. We've had over right around 550 kids in the program since we started, have a graduation rate of 97% of those kids. It's amazing. And my biggest goal is to reach 98. I think the biggest satisfaction of what I have gained and what I appreciate is the fact that someone else has been given a chance in life. Or as one young lady said to us after an interview, I didn't think anybody cared. It's always been my drive to, make sure that our kids were accepted, all kids are accepted, race, color, creed. You've been brought into this world, and I always say when you bring a child in this world, you got to love them, you got to feed them, you got to clothe them, and you got to educate them. When I got the call, I said, there are people much more deserving, because if you look at John Snyder, he is the epitome of love and concern for Central Catholic High School. He's given his life, so to speak, to that school and to the students. And he recalls all of them by name, and I consider him a dear, dear friend. And to receive this honor named after him, I truly, truly appreciate it. But there again, in receiving this honor, I really would accept it on behalf of my wife, who I love and miss, and gave me the opportunity to do things that I do.